What's up, guys? This is Twilight. Today's topic is underneath the emotions you try to hide is the abundance you seek. We're just going to talk straight talk about what it is that I feel will help people to align vibrationally to their wealthy place, to abundance. Now let's talk a little bit about abundance. When people think about abundance, they think about wealth. They think about constant financial security and being able to go on yachts and boats and drink champagne and be on islands and date exotic people or be married and have children and have a great life where you go on trips and all your bills are paid and you have enough money to start businesses and help out the community and things like that. What people don't understand is it is a feeling that they are looking for. It is a feeling that you are looking for by amassing and accumulating this material wealth or this relationship or this level of understanding and consciousness that you are looking to seek. Okay, the feeling that you're looking to feel is the feeling of freedom. Everyone who's born into this earth realm comes into this earth knowing pure freedom. It is only when we become adults and when we are growing up and when we are becoming acclimated into our environment that we understand where we stand socially, economically, and race-wise. So all of those external things are tethered to us. And they remain in the back of our conscious mind. And whatever those things mean, we tend to live out those things. For example, gender roles. You tend to get your gender role from the way that you are socialized in society. Okay? You tend to get your role in terms of race from the way that you are socialized or even demeaned in society. So all of those things make you feel pegged to particular societal identifiers that tells us who we are, what we can do, where we can go, and how we should live our lives. Due to that fact, many people do not feel freedom, and they seek it in the way that it is presented in just a common understanding that the richer you are, the wealthier you are, the more that life is going to be freer for you. People believe that material things translate into freedom and success. In just these few moments, how race, how gender, how your financial status is imposed on you, and it gives you key indicators in life about how closer you are to freedom. Now, even in this thought of freedom, we're really not given the true nature of what freedom is because we are constantly being bombarded with freedom being synonymous with material wealth. Okay? But everyone knows the energy and the emotion that they are searching for. They just simply believe that it is this tangible material wealth. Now, let me show you something. Material wealth will give you a perception of some level of freedom. But as we know, and as we have read many, many times before, people who are wealthy or financially well off are not necessarily happy people. You will read about various different things where there are stars and people you look up to who have quote unquote committed some form of suicide or has issues with addictions or has issues with their family or has lost everything. So it is not like when you acquire material things, life just becomes this feeling that we are internally searching for on the inside called freedom. No, it is really mainly us being conditioned to believe that that's going to be that way. And the way that people react to financial wealth in our country is, you're going to have people catering to you. You're going to have people walking around trying to please you. And so that gives you a sense of freedom because you have a sense of some form of power. People are kowtowing to you and attempting to meet your every need and bowing down to you. And that to you may feel like freedom, unlimited success and power. But you will notice that the feeling, the internal feeling that you're searching for, that makes you feel untethered to all of these expectations and ideals and having to be the best and feeling under stress, pressure, and scrutiny, all of those things will still remain even though you have obtained material success. So many people don't think about it this deeply. I recognize that. But I want to make very clear, people who are searching for their wealthy place, who are searching for abundance, are searching for something internally. And they have just been conditioned to believe that it can be acquired through material success. Wealthy place is a vibrational place. Your wealthy place is a frequency. The wealthy place that you are looking for is your relationship with the divine. When you cannot rise above all your social constraints, conditioning, and the class and caste system that we are currently being conditioned under and have been since we were children, it is very difficult for you to even conceptualize that all of this stuff you're looking for is something on the inside, and mostly everything that you're searching for on the outside is just to plug the holes that you feel on the inside, and you're hoping that those things will be enough to generate that emotion for you. Okay? So what does this have to do with hiding from emotions? Well, I did a live presentation on this earlier today. And what I was explaining to the viewers is this very simple thing. The emotions that you try to hide keeps you from your true self, your authentic self. And because you are detached from your true self, your authentic self, you are also detached from the direction, the insight, and the guidance that would lead you to abundance, your wealthy place. Now, why is this important? Because there are so many things that many people do not like about themselves, either because they were told that this part of them was unacceptable, or they believe from looking in the outside world that this part of them makes them weak, undesirable, not likable. Something that is going to cause them to get some level of rejection, a negative reaction, and it could be totally backed up by systemic influence. For example, sadly, many people of high melanin hue feel like it's just a crime to have high melanin content. They can't go to a barbecue and a picnic without being cited for just eating food while black in America. So to have that type of toxic indication of something about you is so wrong just because it is widely accepted in society, and it's an incorrect thought process. It still translates into consequences that many individuals can't even get by. People are losing their lives because so many people in society agree that this one inscrutable factor about you it relates to all of these negative things when it's nothing more than negative conditioning. You see? So you can't really depend on the outside world to give you the right amount of feedback about what is best for you. You can't depend on the society to know what parts of you are acceptable. They only know what parts of you, the way it makes them feel, and if they like it or not. And I got to tell you, that opinion is worth a hill of beans. Okay? People can only tell you what makes them feel good and what they like. They simply cannot tell you what parts of you contribute to your long-term divine objective. For a really long time, I felt like I would be totally rejected if I showed too much of my intelligence, I showed too much of my emotion, and if I showed too much of my resilience. People have gone so far as to tell me that these things will make sure that I never ever attract the right kind of mate, or that people like people who are chill and calm, and it seems like they just like people who are high all the time. So, and what I learned about these things is I rejected these things within myself, even though they were still there and I was able to utilize them for certain things. I rejected them. In which case, the more I rejected them, the more they operated in the background and controlled my behavior. But instead of having an even equilibrium and being utilized at the appropriate time, the things were popping up all at the unappropriate time, or all when I didn't expect it to, or things were out of my control. So these are things that operate in the background because parts of me were screaming to be heard. Parts of me were screaming to be seen. I was constantly being told by the world at large these aspects of my personality were totally unacceptable. But when I began to, with fear and trembling, and it was not easy, accept the parts of myself that I rejected, that I repressed to be accepted, that I condemned because other people said something was wrong with it, or that I was rejected by other people by it. When I began to allow those things to surface, yeah, people still gave me shitty feedback about it, for sure. But the most important thing was for me to accept it. That's what people don't understand. Listen to me, what I'm telling you right now. Learn to accept parts about yourself that people reject. Now, if the thing about you is destructive and harmful to others, destructive and harmful to yourself, then yes, of course, you're going to have to learn how to live in equilibrium with other people without putting them in harm's way or yourself in harm's way. So, duh on that. But unfortunately, in my case, in the Black community, because of a lot of the psychological dysfunction of slavery, being intelligent can be seen as something that's undesirable. Oh, you lame. Oh, that's boring. Oh, that's nerdy. Don't nobody want to talk about that deep stuff. Let the external rejection be what it is. Not give a hoot about what people thought of me, which took a while. It was not something that happened overnight. Begin to learn to radically accept myself and truly understand what position all of these parts of my personality played in my life, what role they played, why they were useful, and how to utilize them. Once I learned to accept that, all types of wonderful things start to happen to me in my experience. I started to line up with more of the right people. I started to line up with more of the right opportunities. I started to expand in ways that I never thought possible when I tried to marginalize and contain myself based on what other people thought was the best way for me to be. And even now, I'm constantly seeing abundance and growth and opportunities in my life. Because I'm constantly seeing abundance, growth, and opportunities in my life, I now know and have a more purposeful, directed path. And yes, there are still layers that I'm working through and things that I talk to you guys about, or things that I'm discovering, because it's a journey. But I can tell you with some certainty that I feel more at peace, more self-assured, more calm, more clear, more loving, and more fierce, all due to the fact that I have allowed myself to be myself. I stopped running from the rejection. I stopped running from societal expectation and influence, and I began to embrace myself fully, which led me to my authenticity. So with that being said, the emotions that you try to hide and run from are the exact emotions you need to run to. Learn who you are, learn why you are the way you are, and learn to accept yourself fully, because that is what will lead you to your wealthy place.